On Wednesday evening, Arsenal will be playing our 5th Champions League game of the season against RC Lens, a team we lost to earlier in the season in the Champions League. This time we will be at home, and all we need is a draw to qualify for the next round of the knockout stages of the Champions League. If we win the game, we will then win our group, so it's quite a big game. And if we win this game, you might be able to field kind of a B team for the next one against PSV, being that we have already won the group. But to focus on this Lens game, I think it's a very important game. We weren't really good against Brentford, despite all of us celebrating like we just won the Champions League. We beat Brentford with a lucky 88th minute goal from Kai Havertz. We weren't good. If you think about the performance, none of us were really good. So I'm hoping to see a much better performance all around from the team, and maybe, just maybe, we can get a comfortable victory. So in today's video, we are going to be previewing the game, discussing the potential lineups that we may see, and how I think the game will play out. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. As always, please be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So in our last 5 games in all competitions, we have 3 wins and 2 losses. Our last 3 games have been all wins against Sevilla, Burnley and Brentford, and then obviously we had those 2 losses against West Ham and Newcastle. So I don't know how our form is, because if we had put in a good performance against Brentford, I would say our form is good. But I said this in the post-match of the Brentford game, it's always difficult coming from international break when most of your players were out of their international teams because they're going to be tired and a little bit lethargic. So I'm kind of giving the Brentford performance a pass purely because we won. But I'm just thinking a lot of that poor performance was down to the fact that 90% of our players were out of their international teams. So you'd hope with the time that we've had between this Brentford game and this Lens game that we're kind of all back up to standard and back playing like a unit. So I expect a really good performance against Lens. Our next couple games are really favorable, to be honest, and I'm kind of expecting Arsenal to go out there and win damn near all of them. I mean, I don't want to look too far ahead because we still have to play Lens, but I mean, the Wolves game we should win, the Luton Town game we should win. Villa is a difficult game, I mean, being that they just beat Spurs. But anyway, back onto Lens. I think Lens is going to be a somewhat difficult game. When we went to play them earlier in the season, I believe Lens weren't really doing well in the table. They were, I think, bottom half of the table in Ligue 1. Now they sit in 6th with 5 wins, 4 draws and 4 losses, and they're looking pretty decent. They beat Marseille recently, so I don't think Lens is a pushover. I mean, I never did considering the fact that they beat us, but I think we should put in a good performance. We're at home, it's Champions League football, we are on the verge of qualifying for the knockout stages, and I mean, think about it, we beat Lens, right? Let's say we beat Lens, we win the group. Then regardless of the other results, if we beat Lens, we win the group, and then that PSV game we can kind of just throw out a B team and let them play, which then gives them time, and also it's sandwiched between Villa and Brighton that game, so it'll be perfect for us to go win this game and then not have to worry about Champions League till next year. Now Lens, I already touched on their form a little bit earlier, but they are looking pretty decent. In their last 5 games, they have 1 draw, 1 loss and 3 wins, so very similar to ours. Their loss coming in a 1-0 defeat away at PSV, but since that defeat they've beaten Marseille 1-0 and they've most recently beaten Clermont-Foot 3-0. The thing is though, looking at their last 3 games, Lens seem to maybe lack a little bit of discipline. I mean, in their last 3 games, they've had 2 games where they were down to 10 men, so maybe we can exploit the discipline problem that Lens may have, but I do think they're all going to be locked and loaded. Lens also have a game against Lyon on Saturday, so how strong of a team they're going to field against us, I don't really know. I think if we score an early goal and we go up, let's say 2-0 at halftime, I don't expect them to keep out their best players for much longer, being that they have Lyon on Saturday. We'll go on to injuries and suspensions for Arsenal. So Timber is obviously going to be out for the game, so is Thomas Partey, and Smith Rowe will also be out until early December, so we expect to not see him at all against Lens. That's pretty much it. No other injuries and suspensions, which is kind of a relief at this moment. We always seem to be thin, but hopefully now the team is starting to get fit and we can start actually playing with our stronger teams. Injuries and suspensions for Lens, they look okay. I mean, Machado's out, Danso's out, Skilavogi's out, but that's pretty much it. They also only have 3 injuries, and for them, none of them are really that big of injuries, so they should be able to field their strongest possible starting 11. Now onto the starting 11 that I expect Arsenal to field. It's going to be an interesting one. I think in goal, it's going to be quite obvious. It's going to be David Raya. Obviously, Ramsdale did play against Brentford, but that was purely because Raya can't play, being that he's loaned out from Brentford. And Ramsdale didn't really do himself too many favors, particularly in the first half. He did well in the second half, but it's too little too late. And I know Arteta and Arsenal have rejected a transfer offer for Ramsdale from an unnamed Premier League team, but that's not going to make Ramsdale play. Raya starts this game. The back line, we can pretty much go however we want. I mean, it's so refreshing to have Ben White, Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, all of them fit again. I expect obviously Gabriel and Saliba to still be the centre backs, but the full backs is where Arteta might want to play around. I might expect him to start Zinchenko purely for the fact that we are at home. We're going to be holding the possession, and Zinchenko does really well against teams that want to play a low block. So I won't be too surprised if I see Zinchenko starting. In the midfield, I expect Havertz to start. I think he's on high confidence. Let him start. We're going to be holding possession. We're going to be attacking this team. Let Kai Havertz start. I think Arteta's going to do that. And I think the other midfielders will obviously be Odegaard and Rice. That's what I think Arteta would go with. And then I think Arteta's going to go with the exact same start in front three that we saw against Brentford with Jesus, Saka, and Martinelli. Now on to my starting 11. The starting 11 that I would go with for the game if I was in charge. In goal, I'm still going with David Raya purely out of realism. I would like to go Ramsdale to give more confidence, being that this is a game that we kind of have a little bit margin for error, but I'm going to go David Raya. Centre backs will be Gabriel and Saliba, but my full backs, I would go left back Tomiyasu, right back Ben White. I just think Glasgow are going to be counter-attacking a lot, and Tomiyasu is a very good defender compared to Zinchenko, of course, and Tomiyasu can kind of play an inverted role. So I would go with Tomiyasu left back and Ben White at right back. CDM for me, Declan Rice, and midfield would be the same that I think Arteta is going to go with in Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz. Again, Kai's coming off a winner. This is a team that we should be attacking. We should be holding a lot of the ball, so I have no problems putting in Kai Havertz. And then I'll go with the same front three that I expect Arteta to go with. Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. There's not much else to be said there. As much as Nketiah is a good player at times, he's just not going to cut it. I think we should sell him in January, but that's another topic for another day. So that's my starting 11. I expect Arsenal to go out there and just win the group, win the game, win the group, and make it easy for us. But Arsenal like making it difficult for us Arsenal fans, so I don't know. I do expect us to win though, so hopefully we can. Let me know in the comments, what are you guys' predictions for the game? What starting 11 would you guys go with for the game? Let me know all that in the comments below. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.